Welcome to the Look Good, Move Well podcast.
There's so many, like, this is definitely one of those podcasts that we're going to have transcribed, and then this is going to turn into a chapter of a book, because I'm not trying to oversell this episode before we get into it, but there's a lot to be unpacked here, and hopefully we can do this in the next 20 minutes. I'm caffeinated, ready, set, go.
Okay.
No, rate of perceived exertion, percentage effort, intensity, percentages of max lifts. Did I say reps in reserve? I may have said that. Nope. Repetitions in reserve. These are all ways of talking about the same concept, and it's an important concept. And this is why. You've heard of the saying, no pain, no gain. I say that, and I think that touches like a part of everybody where they're like, yeah, I understand that. Like, not like you have to go and like hurt yourself to see progress, but nothing is going to be easy. Nothing's going to be handed to you. You can't just show up at the gym, walk in the doors, and then magically like muscles start popping out of nowhere and fat just starts melting off your body.
That'd be great.
I mean, that'd be a primo membership. You have to get in and you have to do some work. You got to work hard, and so that's the no pain, no gain side of it. And then the other side of the coin is like, if you like crush yourself, you overdo it, you hurt yourself. A lot of people resonate with that too, or they've seen it done. They've seen people push. They know the concept of like, I was pushing the edge, I was pushing the limit, and I went too far. Whether that means like they were pushing the limit on the ski slopes and they like booted out and had a yard sale up on the slopes and they twisted their knee, or they were in the gym and they went a little too heavy and they tweaked something, or they were watching their favorite race car driver push the limit and they lost their traction and flew into the wall. Those are the ends of the spectrum. You got to work hard enough to get the results, but you can't work too hard, because otherwise, or you can't push it too hard, because otherwise you're gonna flirt with disaster. You're gonna flirt with risk. And so that is the principle that guides fitness improvement. Did you work hard enough, or did you work too hard? What's interesting is that coming out of the CrossFit space, which really got its accelerated start in about 2009, 2010, is that it was such a new phenomenon that we were seeing people very consistently overdo it. Like average people overdo it. The story before that was the average person doesn't work out hard enough.
Right.
They go to the gym and they just don't. They kind of phone it in. They think they're doing something. They're doing the lat pull down. They walk on the treadmill and they're like, why am I not losing weight?
Yeah.
It's like, oh, because you gotta get some intensity. You gotta work harder. Okay, everyone walks into CrossFit gym. This new elegant way of putting together exercises and doing burpees and moving for time, and intensity went from like a 10 to 100 overnight. And people were they were getting their bells rung. And in a lot of instances, the bell got rung and they were working hard and they were seeing results. And also a lot of cases, it was like they were getting crushed and hurt and burning out. So I was in that space for a bunch of years, and I was like, oh, I'm burned out. Like, I'm feeling it, and a lot of people are feeling it. So we started to kind of help people understand that percentage effort or rate of perceived exertion, we had to like dial them back. Mm-hmm. But then there's also a huge audience of people out there where it's like, I'm sorry, we gotta dial you up. You're not really doing enough.
Yeah.
And this then leads to a conversation and a discussion of like, well, what's the right way to do it? How do I measure this? What's the best way to approach it? And I still think the vast majority of people don't work hard enough. We had insight into a small, narrow group of people that were like the hard charging CrossFitters that wanted to compete and do the thing, and they were overdoing it. But by and large, most people are like, they haven't actually experienced pushing it super hard. And that's what I think the CrossFit experience was valuable for, was it's like, oh, I have not been working out hard at all. What the, like, I didn't even know this, I didn't know this level of discomfort in training existed. Doesn't mean, you know, the mistake was thinking that, okay, now I know what hard looks like. Like, I know what super hard looks like. That means I have to do it that way. Otherwise, I'm not working out. Like, that actually ended up not being true.
Right.
What it did was it just moved the goalpost really far to the right. It was like, whoa, this is super hard. Okay, but the sweet spot is not there. It's actually a little bit before that. And professional athletes in different sports have known this for years. Collegiate strength and conditioning coaches have known this for years, but that wasn't how the general population was getting introduced to intensity. They were getting introduced to intensity by, like, you know, these bone crushing CrossFit workouts that we were giving them. And they were like, whoa, you know, they didn't understand what percentage effort is.
Yes. I really feel like a lot of people want some very definitive metric to go by. Like, if you get this specific weight and you do this specific amount of reps, then you are in the right zone. Or if you look at your heart rate monitor and you're in the whatever range, then you're good to go. And I feel like there's a lack of emphasis on how to understand from a more feel-based approach.
Yeah.
And especially not necessarily even in that workout, but maybe you need to approach your workouts with a given level of intensity,
Sure.
a given level of effort for a couple weeks, just like when you change up your macros and you need to see the effect on your body. It's not going to happen instantaneously.